Okay, I guess we're back again. Welcome back to the green room and everything else that's manifesting around you. Okay, now again, as I mentioned before, what I'm doing here is I'm doing videos by requests. And again, some of them that I don't have any knowledge and experience on, I'm unable to comment on, obviously. But I've recently got one here that I rather like that I really want to comment on. And someone, not someone, actually I had 3 or 4 people actually request this one. And again, of course, it's about twin flames, not Twinkies, twin flames. Can one twin heal the other? Which I think should be an interesting topic. And I'm going to base the information totally that I'm going to present in this video here on our experience. And I'm going to answer the question right off the bat. Can one twin heal the other? No, you cannot. And yes, you can. Contradiction, and I'm going to explain. All right. Again, I'm going to be a little repetitive here in this video. And I'm going to remind everyone that in a twin flame union, and I'm talking about a twin flame union, I am not talking about what some people call a twin flame relationship. I want to emphasize that point. A twin flame relationship is about a relationship. A twin flame union is about a melding, merging, blending, and a oneness between a one soul being in 2 bodies in that particular situation. In a twin flame relationship, what people are is 2 individual souls in 2 individual bodies wanting a twin flame relationship. Good analogy. Okay, where we go. I should get some gums flapping. Start the day off with. Okay, now on a serious note here. The idea with the concept of one twin flame healing the other twin flame, and I'm going to base this totally on my experience. Whenever we have come across a set of twin flames, be that in doing a reading or counseling for them, we always get from one the situation of what's going on between them and the other one. And in some cases, we get both of them who come on, and both of them are having issues with each other. And the very first thing that one has to take into consideration here in a twin flame union is if they're having problems and there are issues that are outstanding and they're pushing each other's buttons, and we get into what some people call the coming together and the separating. Some people like to call it the running phase, if I can put it that way. I like to call it the up and down like a toilet seat phase, because that's what it is. They're up and down like a toilet seat. They're either going for a poop or they're not going for a poop. They're going for a poop or they're not going for a poop. And ends up that the whole situation turns into a whole pile of poop. And the next thing, the both of them get pooped out and they have to go away from each other and rest. So I call it the up and down toilet seat phenomena, or they're in the poop phase. I crack myself up sometimes. I like that one. Hope you liked it too. Anyways, the poop phase can be an ongoing process with twin flames. But what I have found over the years is initially when I started doing counseling, I used to kind of find that the problems usually were more on one side than the other. But I have found that all things being equal, and in most cases, I find that the one twin who usually presents the other twin as being the major problem also has issues that they have to deal with also, but they may be a little bit more subtle, but they're probably just as paramount and important as the other one has, just not quite as obvious in a particular situation. It took me a while to learn that, but I finally caught on to it as to what is going on. So what happens is many people have gotten a hold of me and they say, well, Mel, how can I help my twin flame? How can I help heal my twin flame? And the very first thing that I will say to them, well, what have you been doing to heal yourself first of the issues that you may have? Well, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, how can I help my twin flame heal? And I asked them again, well, what are you doing with the issues that you have that need to be brought into balance and correction? And I find this to be a really strange phenomenon amongst the spiritual community, especially amongst twin flames and amongst teachers and amongst healers and a lot of facilitators on YouTube. They're very much into wanting to be out in the public, helping people, being of service, saving souls, saving twin flames, being counseling, doing meditation, teaching, being there for everybody else. And I'm finding that's becoming a real cop-out. It's a great way of avoiding their own issues that they have that they don't want to deal with by pretending that they're out there at the beck and call and the service to humanity in so many ways. And this is another phenomenon that I'm finding very, very thick and very rampant among the twin flame community. Remember, I'm talking twin flame union here. I'm not talking twin flame relationship. Big difference, okay? I'm going to start making that difference in a lot of the videos that I do so that people understand where I'm coming from, and I'm not bashing anybody. I'm talking about twin flame unions or twin flame relationships. Two different subject matters altogether, okay? So that should keep the peace in the valley and everybody not get their nose out of joint so much. Okay, now, when it comes to these types of situations, what happens is you have this dynamics that's going on back and forth. And I've said this before in videos, that when we're talking about a twin flame union, we're talking about a one soul being a graduate soul returning, manifesting at the highest vibration in two bodies, but there are also more, and I'm not going to get into that at the moment. But at the same time, it has to be taken into consideration. I don't think enough people are understanding that. If you will notice, any of you, that the majority of twin flames don't congregate in one particular place or group or wherever. They're scattered all over the world, in every different race, in every different culture, in every different continent, in every different city on the planet. So the numbers are limited. You don't require millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of twin flames to accomplish that. What you do is you have some graduate souls selectively that have been involved in other soul groups previously in different lifelines, if I can put it that way, and timelines, of which they are still doing at the moment. And what they're manifesting is taking on the belief systems, the templates, the ideologies, the philosophies, etc., of those particular soul groups. In other words, they're there for exactly that reason. So what happens is, in order to bring the situation together and to bring them to the point of awakening, in order for twin flames to awaken, and I'm talking twin flame unions here, not twin flame relationship. In a twin flame union, the two must come together to create ignition, or the energy, or the masculine feminine aspect, to ignite each other in that particular soul group to begin the awakening process. As they begin the awakening process, all of the templates, belief systems, ideologies, philosophies, hang-ups, idiosyncrasies, functions, dysfunctions, functional and positive aspects, all will come up between the two of them. Sounds like rocket science, doesn't it? It's not. So what happens is this. Every set of twin flames in a twin flame union, not a twin flame relationship. Twin flame relationships don't have to go through initiation. All they need to do is get a dozen roses and a bottle of wine, pick out a local mattress someplace, and they're in happiness and bliss for the rest of their life. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a twin flame relationship. In a twin flame union, it's different. In a twin flame union, what takes place is, as that ignition factor comes into play, all of those aspects that they've taken on in that particular soul group are coming out and manifesting through their dynamics of their personality, their mental body, the emotional body, and also the etheric body. When they came in, was clear it contained nothing But now it has taken on all of those templates and belief systems. So they start coming out. So what they're doing is the twin flame union, the two individuals are acting out these processes. They are not aware of that consciously in the beginning, but they do start to become aware of it later on because they start asking questions as to what's going on. Because the other thing that's happened is most of them, and I want to emphasize this point, again, has been deeply templated with the present state of relationship, love, and sexuality, depending upon the race, culture, and location on the planet that they come from. I see this every day with people, every day with twin flames that get in contact with me. They are so deeply ingrained with all of these old templates and belief systems. And because they're in that particular soul group, we have so many differences of belief systems about love, relationship, and sexuality. It's very obvious the explosiveness that's going to take place. Now you ask yourself a question. We have two individuals going through this process in varying degrees. Now let me just throw this in just for the sake of conversation here. Does it ever happen that we have a set of twin flames that come together who have a reasonably easy, good time of it? Yes, we do. I know of two that it happened relatively quickly with no fuss and no muss. All right, that's just all I've seen in 20 years. All right, if you know more of them, hey, great. All right, that's wonderful. But I don't see it that often. All right, I've seen two that I can think of, just two. Two sets, that is, not two, but two sets. So what happens is this is, based on the fact that this is a graduate soul, a twin flame union, not a twin flame relationship, a twin flame union, and the two individuals go through what's called, you know, I want to make this clear here, okay? So many in the spiritual community now accept and acknowledge that we're going through an awakening. We're going through an ascension process. That ascension process dictates we're going to go through certain experiences, certain aspects of the mental, the emotional, the spiritual body, changes in the physical body. And yet, when it comes to the twin flame union, everybody has this thing that it should just all fall together like magic. Did it ever occur that the twin flame union is an actual process that both individuals, because they are graduate souls, and because they're going to be moving into vibrational energies where they're going to have the ability to have a lot of influence, and they're going to develop abilities, if I can put it that way. And I'm not trying to put twin flames in some kind of hierarchy, or they're special, or they're better than everybody else. Don't take it that way, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the twin flame union is a very responsible union, and there's no place in it for idiots, fluff bunnies, and fools who don't have themselves together, who can act in a responsible and present and be facilitators or leaders or generators of energy and be relatively good examples. Now, one thing twin flames don't have to be is perfect. They don't have to be perfect. They still live in three-dimensional reality in a physical body. So therefore, what some people think is that twin flames have to be these divine emanations of light who just float around 6 inches off the floor, and all they do is emanate the love. All right? That's some kind of illusionary fantasy that exists in the minds of a few in a perspective. Twin flames at all times, as they're beginning to awaken, can, will, and are going to go through a process of initiation. Like it or not, that's the way it is. And every one of them is going to be tested time and time again. For every development that they get in character, for every development that they evolve to, for every ability that they attain, and for as much influence as they manifest to others around them, they're going to be tested time and time again on those points. They're going to go through initiation after initiation after initiation. Like I said, this is not for twin flame relationships. I'm talking about a twin flame union. Big difference here. All right? So the question comes up, We have two that are twin flames that are coming together. They're beginning to work together. They have and are clearing out the issues of the soul group that they came into. And the biggest problem is that I found right off the bat that really needs to be addressed for a short period anyway, is every set of twin flames need to learn lesson number one. When the poop hits the fan and you and he are going at it, or you and her and her, or him and him, or whatever, okay, are going at it, don't take it personally. When you take it personally, you are lowering yourself to the vibrational level of the other energy that's being manifested. I know this is, some people are going to say, well, that's easy for you to say, Mel. No, it's not easy for me to say at all. I say it because I experienced it. Look, let me explain something to everybody here so you understand. There isn't anything that I talk about that some of you think I'm bashing you about that I haven't experienced myself. I've been there. All right? I don't get it any easier than anybody else does. I have to go through all of the trials and tribulations and initiations the same as every other set of twin flames do and are going to do and will do in the future. I'm no exception. I have just as many struggles as the rest of you do in the twin flame aspect. And even though I've been doing it now and with Nicole for 20 years, the personal growth, the personal initiations are still personal. We can't fix each other. We can support each other. And I don't care who says it, what person or persons say it. One twin flame cannot heal another twin flame. What is happening is we have people in twin flame relationships, which are basically soulmate connections at a higher vibration that are labeled by some individuals, who are doing this and saying this because they're not talking about twin flames healing twin flames. It doesn't happen that way. What can happen is this, and what you can do is this, is you can, once you've reached a certain point of your own development, and I think every set of twin flames who is out there who is truly honest with themselves will always say that they have things that are still evolving and growing around and that they're not perfect. And they're still going to go through initiations. What you can do, and I have suggested that people do this, is if you are and have focused on your own personal individual growth and you're not in the phase where you're hanging on desperately to your twin flame and you're in that agony and ecstasy phase where what is he doing and is she doing that or is she doing that, that's a part of going through the difficulty. Even basic relationships go through that kind of stuff. This is not just unique to twin flames. So what happens is you have individuals who reach a certain point in a twin flame union where what can happen is when the personality has developed enough and they've reached a level of understanding and let go of the emotional attachment to their twin flame, and their personality has evolved to the point that they understand that their life is not dependent and their mission is not dependent and the whole of their being is not dependent upon being with their twin flame, that the reason the twin flame and them came together in the first place was to activate the both of them. After that, the process of initiation continues. And another point that I would like to make, which I mentioned before, is every set of legitimate twin flames on the planet knew full well that coming in here, it was not going to be a bowl of cherries. That there were going to be a lot of twin flames that were not going to be successful and were not going to make it. In other words, we knew full well there was going to be a lot of collateral damage initially in the first 2 or 3, all right? And it's still happening. Well, we'll back up a minute here. Let me say that in the first 2 waves, all right, is where we experience the most collateral damage. The third wave now is deriving a lot of the benefit of what the rest of us have done. And for them, it's going to be a bit easier. But still, they're not going to get through it without going through their own personal initiations at the same time, especially when it comes. Now, when I say initiations, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the banter or the difficulties that have to be dealt with between the set of twin flames. What I'm talking about is their own personal growth at what some people like to call the ascension level, the moving into the higher dimensions, the shift and changes in the body that need to take place. What they don't have to do is have to go through all of the stuff that what others went through from the first wave, all right? And the second wave. They don't have that much to do with that. So, now, to get back to what I was saying before, I got wandered off topic there, sorry about that. The idea is if you really want to do something with your twin flame, you have to be at the point where you've detached from it, you've let go, and you have reached a state of maturity where you can honestly say you no longer have any expectations of wanting to be with your twin flame in any form. If you've reached that point, at this point, now you can do something. Can you heal your twin flame? Absolutely not, and I will say that till I can't draw a breath. You cannot heal your twin flame. You cannot. What you can do is you can focus your attention in your heart center chakra, which at this point, if you're detached, should have reached the point where your heart center is no longer a round, dominant globe or spinning sensation in the center of your chest. You would have reached a point where you are moving into what some people call the diamond emerald heart, the heart womb, what I call the avatar heart. And at that point, what you can do is you can send energy. You can send energy via that heart center chakra to your twin flame with no conditions, no hidden agenda, no expectation. And that energy can be taken in by your twin flame, but it does not mean that it's going to do any healing or any curing or anything else. You are just sending energy. That's all you can do and will be allowed to do. You have to remember something here, and a lot of people seem to forget this, is when a twin flame union comes together, there's always the sequence of synchronicities and coincidences that all fall together. It happens for the twin flame relationship too, and the soulmate relationships, and the sacred partnerships, and all of the rest of it. But with a twin flame, these coincidences all happen because there's some kind of something or other, that nebulosity that lives in the clouds that is bringing this union together in the first place. And the problem is too many sets of twins forget about that. And they forget about that they're not driving the bus. So if anybody's got the attitude of they're a little bit of a control freak, or they like to be boss, or they want to lead their twin flame into wherever they're going to go, it's not going to happen. It isn't. You have to surrender to the process of the union. That means surrendering to higher self. Now, what do I mean by higher self? Higher self is that higher aspect of you. In a twin flame union, there's one oversoul, one higher self, if I can put it in those terms, or one graduate consciousness behind it. It brings it all together. You're the vehicle of that expression, but it's still you. So no one should think that they're losing control, they have to give up, they have no life of their own. You knew all this before you got here. All I'm doing is just refreshing your memory with what I'm giving you at this particular point. So the idea here is if you send that energy, no matter what the situation that your twin flame is in, that energy can be received by your twin flame. But your twin flame must still do the work. You cannot heal your twin flame. You cannot, because they must go through a process of initiation. They have to do it on their own. They have to be able to take their consciousness, their mental body, the emotional body, and they have to be able to clear their etheric body. And they also have to get to the point where they can get the little boy or the little girl that has been dictating and hung up on these belief systems, ideologies, and philosophies that they've incorporated in the soul group that they come into. They have to be able to begin to express those. You cannot do it for them. That's why you're in one soul group and he's in another soul group. You will notice the twin flames don't come into the same soul group. They will always go to different soul groups because they can accomplish a great more by doing so. And each one of them has previous experience in those soul groups. Simple, isn't it? So, for those of you that are in a twin flame relationship, none of this is of any concern to you, and you don't even need to listen to what I'm saying if you're in a twin flame relationship. If you're in a twin flame union, you need to pay particular attention to what I'm saying. All right? So when you do this and you extend it over a period of time and you have no agenda, that energy can be felt, perceived, and used to assist only and add energy to what your twin flame is doing at the present moment, be it nothing or something in small degrees, to whatever conscious level that he's at or she's at that particular situation. And if he or she begins to wake up, and in many cases what happens is this, is when you actually go through the separation again and it splits up and there's no contact between you for an extended period of time, don't forget that I mentioned about the connection being built in the 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th, because it is, all right? And if he stays or she stays in three-dimensional reality where they are, remember, you're not going to be potentially alone for the rest of your life if you choose not to be. Remember that point. So there's no reason for anyone in a twin flame union to be miserable and unhappy for an extended period of time unless you choose to be, and you're allowing yourself to be dictated by belief systems and ideologies. So if you're in that particular state, how can you possibly do a healing on your twin flame, because you can't even do a healing on yourself at that point? And even if you should arrive at a state of balance and harmony and resonant frequency, you have to remember something. You're now up here, your twin flame's still down here. All you can do is send him some energy, or her, and they can perceive it, and they can use it to actually build it higher into the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, but it doesn't mean it's going to have any effect on the 3rd. And the reason people have that is because they have this ideology and philosophy and belief system that in order to do the mission, you have to be with your twin flame, you at least have to be in the same cabin, in the same roof, and you're having a relationship. And that's why we have twin flame relationships. That's what twin flame relationships are. They want the romance, the fantasy, the wine, the dining, the living in the burbs, the beautiful holidays in Jamaica or wherever the hell else. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a twin flame relationship. It has nothing to do with a twin flame union. Big difference. I think the idea of separating the two here might actually get some people thinking that I'm actually contributing something that may be of value to genuine twin flames and genuine twin flames in a relationship. All right? So we can establish that fact there's a difference now, so everybody should be happy. And I can even do videos now on twin flame relationships, you see. Should be fascinating, more fun for me. Okay, now, the idea here, finally in this video, is this. Is if you're in that situation that I'm talking about and you've totally detached and let go, in sending the energy via the heart center chakra to your twin flame, you can affect the stability of the union in higher dimensions. If the twin flame, he or she, can actually do some of the work in eliminating the limitations in the mental, emotional, and also the etheric body, then that energy can filter through and assist in doing what it is intended to do without a hidden agenda going on with anybody. So therefore, even if you've reached the higher vibration, can a twin flame do a healing on another twin flame? Absolutely not. I don't care who says otherwise, and I'll repeat it again. You cannot in that particular situation, because all twin flames have to go through an initiation, and they all have to go through it, and they all have to pass the test. You don't have to be perfect, but you need to be reasonably close to be fully awakened to the potential that lies within and the abilities that are forthcoming to you all. And again, I emphasize the point, you don't need your twin flame union to accomplish a mission in that particular aspect. It's not required. And I do understand, because I've been there, I've been doing the mission, as I mentioned in the other video, for a great many years all by myself. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Have a great day, everybody. This was fun.